Welcome back to today's fifth and final installment of our sponsorship series, where we tell you how to properly write a sponsorship proposal. And we've done this to make sure that no matter what company you're applying for, you're putting in the right information and you're considering some of the things that happen from behind the curtain.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
What's going on? I'm Scott from Koenig, and by now you have probably seen some of the other pieces of our sponsorship proposal series, and that's why you're here. But if you haven't, we've went through all the things you need to think about before putting together a deck. We told you how to introduce yourself, how to introduce your project, and how to properly ask for what you need. And here we are giving you the fifth and final piece, which is you have to give something back. This is going to be the episode where we tell you how to state your deliverables and your executables that you're going to be giving to this company in exchange for this sponsorship. Let's talk about the numbers. This is one of the places that you could easily go wrong. You're going to list things like what's your social following, how many YouTube subscribers you have, how many people you have that follow you, what is the kind of the exposure value that you have, and how is it clearly factually demonstrated. In other words, you're not telling them any opinions here, you're giving them facts. Things that you can pull from, Facebook Insights, things that you can pull from YouTube as far as your insights, your analytics, your subscribers, how many people come to your website. These are all valid numbers that you can put into this part of the proposal to demonstrate the amount of exposure you're providing. Where I caution you is by putting too many numbers in that aren't necessarily relevant to the actual exposure that they will receive from you. What I mean by this is we often get sponsorship proposals from teams, and the only numbers that they really talk about are all the social analytics and all the exposure value that they get from the entire series. Let's say it's a drifting series, and you're giving this proposal all of the information and numbers for that whole series. That doesn't equate to you. Just because you're part of that series doesn't mean that you will inherit or benefit from any one of all those media assets, right? It doesn't mean that you're gonna be in every single one of those posts. Don't get lost in the sauce here.
If you don't got no sauce, then you're lost. But you can also get lost in the sauce.
This is not one of those areas where more equals better. Because if you put too much, what's gonna happen is that company's gonna be like, look, there's no way this person could possibly offer all this. So moving forward, we're getting into the actual deliverables that you're going to talk about. Please remember that this is almost just as important. This is the part that you're going to tell this company what they're really going to get.
A new car!
Don't put things down that you can't deliver. See, deliverables are really important because deliverables need to turn into executables. That means whatever you promise here, you must deliver on. Because if you're not judged on it this season or this time, you'll be judged on it next time. And if you want to develop a long-term relationship with a company, one of the things that you have to do is develop a track record of worthiness, a track record of consistency, a track record of reliability, things that you know that you can deliver, and when you promise them, you deliver. If you're a race team, remember what you're kind of asking for a company, right? You want to be able to give them back things that they can use to turn an ROI, turn that return on investment around. So things like having high quality media, being able to turn around imagery, being able to provide them with recaps after every event, being able to make sure that you have proper livery on the car that's kind of sized accordingly to what you're asking for them, but also in relation to your program. So to recap with deliverables, because I know we just talked a lot about some of the do's and don'ts, you're going to want to make sure you have event schedules, product placements, livery placements, how you're going to get exposure, what media you're going to provide, all those things on your website, etc. Whatever you're going to do, this is the place to put it. Put it in definitive nature, make sure it's factual, make sure you can deliver on it. Because the next part is executables. This is the part where you're going to actually have to deliver this stuff. Now, in your proposal, I always think it's a good thing to show the deliverables and then show the executable plan. The reason I'm putting in another section to this plan and I'm saying you should put in how you're going to execute is because of the fact that you want to now show correlation between the things you said you were going to do and show them how you plan to do it. For example, if you're going to, let's say, 8 drifting events, and these are the events that you're going to, you can demonstrate in your exposure plan, have already sourced budget for these, have enough money, have already resourced travel, by listing out these things and showing them that, look, I've already figured out a way to make sure this is definitely going to happen. Now, all of a sudden, the stuff that you haven't done yet, the stuff that you're saying I'm going to do, shows that you are really prepared to do it and you're going to be able to execute. I promise you, showing them a pathway for how you're going to give them all these things is going to mean a lot to that company. And the person that's making the call about whether they should sponsor you, they're going to feel a little bit more confidence in knowing that you've not only thought about what you're going to give them, but you also thought about exactly how you were going to make that happen. This is where you can separate yourself from everybody else. All right, so if you have tuned in for all 5 now of these episodes on sponsorship and creating a sponsorship proposal, I think you'll have a lot of good, useful information that you can use to properly draft your proposal. Remember that your sponsorship proposal is competing against every single other person that's put in a sponsorship proposal. You have to stand out. And the only way you can properly stand out is by offering something or demonstrating it in a way that's different than everybody else. So when you're thinking about this, when you're putting this stuff together, really try to make sure that you're not just checking the boxes. Checking the boxes on a sponsorship proposal is the quickest way to the trash bin. Hundreds of thousands of these proposals come in every year, and somebody has to decide which ones are going to get it and which ones won't. So for you to be the one to get it, make sure that you're constantly considering, if you were on the other side of the coin, would this be enough for you? I'm Scott from Koenig. We appreciate you hanging out with us, and we hope that you found this information useful. We will catch you on the next one.